Firm Foundation Bitesize Lesson number 8, God Created the Heavens and the Earth, Part 2. In Lesson 7, we began by talking about the start of a race at a track meet and the official raising his pistol in the air, and after saying, "Runners, set," he squeezes the trigger. Well, every race has a starting point, and here in Genesis we see the beginning, the starting point in time. From the beginning, life became linear, not cyclical. There is no such thing as reincarnation. Friedrich Nietzsche claimed that life was nothing more than an endless cycle, like an old scratch vinyl record that keeps playing the same thing over and over again. But you see, here's the good news of Genesis. Our existence does have purpose, as we're going to see here in Genesis. Genesis begins the story of mankind, and we are headed to a conclusion, to the end which is found in Revelation. B, the first day light created. Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. The arrangement of the sixth-day creation has a recurring phrase. There was evening, and there was morning. Here in verse 5, we learn that as far as God's concerned, each day begins in the evening, and this is how Jews consider a day. The Sabbath, God's designated day of rest for mankind, which we'll talk about in another lesson, it begins at sundown on Friday and ends at sundown on Saturday. Each day of creation is a 24-hour period of time. Here in verse 3, we see the power of God's word. He spoke it, and light came into existence. I mean, only God could create light by just simply speaking the word. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if we could simply speak and have light appear? But it doesn't work that way. Whenever we see the light of the sun or the moon or the stars, or we flip a light switch, or we light a match or a candle, we need to remember that it was God who in the very beginning created light. He alone could do that because he alone is all-powerful and all-knowing. Verse 4, and God saw that the light was good, and then he separated the light from the darkness. Now the light God made was good. Unfortunately, we can't make anything perfect. Things that we produce or make, they need repair, they wear out, or they're replaced by something better. I mean, how many different versions of iPhones have there been? I mean, you see, whatever we create, no matter how great it is, it can be improved upon by someone else down the road. But not so with God. Everything he created was good, and it would not be replaced by something better because it was perfect, even as God is perfect. In Psalm 18:30 it says, "As for God, his way is perfect." In verse 5, God called the light day and the darkness night, and evening passed and morning came, marking the first day. And God divided the light from the darkness, and he called the light day, and he called the darkness night. This is the first day in the beginning of the world. But remember, the day began in the evening at the start of darkness or night. Now we come to C, the second day, where the firmament is created. Genesis 1, starting verse 6 through 8. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse, and he separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse, and it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening and there was morning the second day. Again, God merely spoke, and the firmament was created. I mean, just look at the vastness of the sky. We can only see a tiny portion of what encircles the earth. And yet God spoke and created all of the earth's atmosphere, and it was perfect. The second separation of creation is the division in the waters, where we are told that God formed an expanse to create a boundary, giving structure to the upper and lower waters. This expanse is the atmosphere that distinguishes the surface waters of the earth, or the waters below, from the atmospheric waters or clouds above. The stars are the brightness of this expanse. The Hebrew term rakia is the word used for expanse. Unlike man's theories, God's written account of creation has not changed. I mean, he was there before the beginning. He's the sovereign creator, and he alone knows how all things came to be. As we study the Bible, we can see that God is absolutely sovereign, greater than all, and more powerful than all. Nothing is too hard for him. He's the source of all energy and the creator of all matter. Well, we've covered the first 2 days of creation. We'll explore the rest of creation week in our coming lessons. Coming up next in Bitesize Lesson 9, God Created the Heavens and the Earth, Part 3. I hope you'll make a plan to join me for Lesson number 9. Until then, Shalom.